Hello, welcome back to another episode of Bastions and Basilisks. I'm Kalvin,
I'm Brandon.
and today, obviously, we're doing Bard colleges. It's right there up on the screen. We're very fancy. Um, so we're going to start. I'm just going to go in alphabetical order for them. So I'm going to start with College of Creation. Mind you, I'm not a huge fan of Bards to begin with. Um, they're not my favorite. They're not a class that I enjoy playing. So I might be overly critical, but it could get worse because I think I did Warlock. Um,
That entire video is going to be this class sucks, and that's the entire video.
this is just right. It's like the reverse of when everything great about when he did the Dark Knight. I was like, I don't know if he made the joke or I thought of the joke that he could have just been like everything great about this movie, the whole thing, and then that's the video, or just yes, and then that's the video. But okay, so yeah, College of Creation. Note of potential. When you join the College of Creation at third level, whenever you give a creature a bardic inspiration die, you can utter a note from the Song of Creation to create a tiny mote of potential, which orbits within 5 feet of that creature. The mote is intangible and invulnerable, and it lasts until the bardic inspiration die is lost, so 10 minutes. The mote looks like a musical note, a star, a flower, or another symbol of art or life that you choose. So make it be like a word bubble.
It just always looks like you're about to.
No, it could be like the diamond thing for
Oh,
the
like the
Sims.
Sims?
Yeah, or the like asterisk or the not the exclamation point for like World of Warcraft. Like you just look like you have a quest.
Make it look like a shining ray of sunlight to
Right.
where you think that they have a quest.
Well, it's like a floating object. It's not a like an effect. But that would be funny though. Um, or a light bulb. That
Okay, I
actually
have
makes
an
the
idea.
most sense considering it's bardic inspiration. Anyway, so when the creature uses the bardic inspiration die, the mote provides an additional effect based on whether the die benefits an ability check, an attack roll, or a saving throw, as detailed below. Ability check. When the creature rolls the bardic inspiration die to add it to an ability check, the creature can roll the bardic inspiration die again and choose which roll to use as the mote pops and emits colorful, harmless sparks for a moment. Ding! So
Like a glitter bomb.
oh no. Oh no. Oh
Just
no, no,
sparkling.
no. Attack roll. Immediately after the creature rolls the bardic inspiration die to add it to an attack roll against a target, the mote thunderously shatters. The target, each creature of your choice that you can see within 5 feet of it, must succeed a Constitution saving throw against your spell save DC or take thunder damage equal to the number rolled on the bardic inspiration die. So the target. Oh, the target. Okay, the target of the attack roll. Got it. I was like the target, but the person is your ally is your target. Why would you want them to take damage? There's a little confusion there. Yeah, it's the target of the attack and each creature of your choice within 5 feet of it. So yeah, got it. Saving throw. Immediately after the creature rolls the bardic inspiration die and adds it to a saving throw, the mote vanishes with the sound of soft music, causing the creature to gain temporary hit points equal to the number rolled on the bardic inspiration die, plus your charisma modifier, minimum of 1 temporary hit point. So,
Each of these definitely have their uses.
right. Um, they're actually pretty good. Because, I mean, bardic inspiration, especially because you get it at level 5. You get it at level 1, and then at level 5, you get all of your uses back each combat, or each short rest. Um, so it's almost an infinite um, resource. So I mean, uh, you know, rolling with advantage on an ability check, always good. Or well, it's not with advantage. You roll the Bardic Inspiration die twice. So you roll your Bardic Inspiration die with advantage.
I was like rereading it. I was like, I think it was a Bardic Inspiration guy
Yeah,
specific.
yeah. So yeah, you roll. It's at level 3. It's 1d6, then it goes to 1d8, then 10, then 12. I think.
Yeah, I
Um,
think so.
but I mean, it's one of those things where you're using it. So it's when you use it. So essentially, every time you make an ability check with it, or somebody makes an ability check with a Bardic Inspiration, they get to roll twice. So that's really good. The attack roll is a little underwhelming because it's maybe it's not a whole lot of damage. I don't know. It doesn't feel like it could be a whole lot of damage, but it could be a whole lot of damage too. You hit somebody, the fighter hits a goblin or something, and they have a bunch of other enemies around it, and then they all fail their con saves, and now all of them take 6 points of thunder damage or something. So
Yeah, and that
um,
takes them mostly out of the fight. I think they start with
so
9 average.
right. So I mean, it's not terrible. It's the saving throw that kind of throws me.
Yeah, definitely, in my opinion, more useful earlier on in the game, mainly when things have lower save ability. But when this does hit and it doesn't have resistance to thunder, I think it'd be a pretty.
Oh, so it's after they roll it, but it doesn't say that you have to hit the creature. So if you roll poorly and then try the Bardic Inspiration and it doesn't, it's not enough to get you there, but it's still decent. Like, maybe it's like a 4 or 5. You're like, fuck it. All of the enemies have to roll a con save. So
Yeah, that is.
it's kind of almost like a secondary um, possible, damage. So it's if you hit, then that's extra damage when you hit, or if you miss, that's possible extra damage if you miss. So it's like it adds to the amount of potential damage, which I like. Um, not not the strongest of the three, um, but
I would honestly.
there's always got to be one that's not great.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I
There's
would say.
there's unfortunately when you have more than one, there's always going to be at least one that's the bottom.
Yeah,
Um, and in no way is that taking the piss out of or anything. It's still a solid ability. The saving throw, I really like the saving throw one.
the saving throw is definitely what I would have put at the top, and then ability
Yeah,
check.
saving throw, ability check, attack roll, because I mean, because it's not even just temporary hit points equal to the bardic inspiration die. It's plus their charisma
What's charisma
modifier.
of 5?
So theoretically, as a bard, you have a high charisma. So
So you have,
they're minimum at level 3. They're if you build your character quote unquote correctly, and you got good stat rolls or whatever, or you picked good, or I don't know, like maybe you should have at least an 18 in your charisma, ideally. Um, so that's minimum 5 temporary hit points, which if it's something that they're rolling a saving throw to take half damage, somebody they're against some creature's breath weapon, or like a small creature because this is level 3, but against some creature's breath weapon or whatever, then you pass the check, and then because you're adding it to the saving throw, you pass the checks, you're taking half damage, and then you have 5 or 6 temp hit points, then you're taking like next to no damage probably, which is pretty solid. And yeah, no, I really like the saving throw one because it's all bonuses, because you're like, even if it's against something not super useful, it's like, oh, save to make a saving throw against some like Thunderwave knocks you down.
yeah, it can push you back, what,
I mean,
15?
yeah, and possible knock you down, but like that still does damage. But like you're like, cool, I rolled a saving throw, I gained 5 or 6 temporary hit points. It's only 2d8, So even if you get knocked prone, there are probably other spells that just like knock you down. Um, but no, I like it. It's good.
I like this. It's definitely a good starting ability, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's a solid start. All right, performance of creation. Also at 3rd level, as an action, You can channel the magic of the Song of Creation to create one non-magical item of your choice in an unoccupied space within 10 feet of you. The item must appear on the surface or in a liquid that can support it. The GP value of the item can't be more than 20 times your bard level, and the item must be medium or smaller. The item glimmers softly, and the creature can faintly hear music when touching it. The created item disappears after a number of hours equal to your proficiency bonus. For example, of the items you can create, see the equipment chapter in the player's handbook. Thanks. Once you create an item with this feature, you can't do so again until you finish a long rest, unless you expend a spell slot of second level or higher to use this feature again. You can have only one item created by this feature at a time. If you use this action and already have an item from this feature, the first one immediately vanishes. The size of the item you can create with this feature increases by one size category when you reach 6th level, too large, and 14th level, too huge. It's all right.
Yeah, this is not what I was expecting by any means for this.
Yeah, it feels like
I feel like this is more of a role play type of thing. Like
oh,
I'm sure this could be utilized in very cool ways, but like I imagine like you're in the woods and like you just create like a little music box off in the distance to like really like throw like say you're about to be ambushed or something like that, or you're ambushing a target. It's like put it off in the distance and like lure the opposition out or something, like that type of thing.
yeah, I mean GP value of 20 times your bard level, so that's this level 3, so that's 60 gold pieces.
Not
Um,
bad.
so I mean technically you could create. It's just all it says is non-magical. So you could create a suit of armor or some armor, depending on how expensive it is, a weapon,
And it has its own music.
and it's singing. Yeah, and it's singing.
I just imagine like a suit of armor and then just John Cena's intro comes in.
Right. Um, I feel like I've seen it somewhere, but like, could you could create a key? This could be a thing where somebody, you break in somewhere and you find the key that you need. You create a duplicate of it, assuming that
Oh,
it's less than the gold value.
it'd be
Uh,
really cool if someone like has a wax candle or something like that, and they just start forcing wax in as it's melting, and you pull it out. And as long as it's not broken, you have like fundamentally an idea of a key, and then you cast the this ability, and poof, key.
well, no, it's you break in somewhere. You need to steal a key, or you need to steal a key for something. You steal the actual key,
Oh, like a different key. I
and
was
then
thinking like
but now
pull it
that you
out.
have it, you create a duplicate of it. You can theoretically create a duplicate of it and put it back, the duplicate back, and then keep the original because the duplicate makes noise.
Dude, I just imagine that Skyrim mission. What is it in Markarth, where you have to like put the imprint and you have to have charcoal and paper in your thing in your inventory so you could like make an imprint of something. Fuck, I forgot what the mission was called, but it just reminds me of that where like I just imagine like you're in there to steal documents that are important, like war plans or something. So you just create a literal duplicate of it instantaneously after reading it, and you just walk off, and they're like none the wiser because it's right there.
The only negative is that it's one. So you couldn't theoretically you could create a if there was a book because a book is one item. A
Yeah,
page is one item as well. So like that's where it gets kind of. But um, this would be one of those situations where the GM would be like, I don't know.
the only downside is that it lasts for a number of hours equal to your proficiency bonus.
I thought it was. Oh yeah, it is proficiency bonus. Yeah, so that's a minimum of 2 hours to begin with.
Yeah, and depending on how
But two
long
hours, like
you're
if
traveling,
you're stealing a key or you're stealing a diamond or maybe not a diamond, but if you're stealing something,
dude, you can rip off so many vendors. You're just like, yeah, I have this giant diamond, and it's like, oh, cool, sell it.
well, no, because it sings, so that's where the issue lies.
Magic diamond that sings even more money.
Magic diamond. That's what just exactly like what Liam and what's his name did. Sam did at the beginning of pre-season 2 of Critical Role, where Liam used his transmutation ability to create things and then like fake gold and then sold it to people and then it turned back into copper or whatever.
Yeah, I'm on like episode 30 of that now.
Well, yeah, that's as far as I got.
I originally got to like 45 or something like that, and then I restarted.
But yeah, no, performance of creation is feels a little underwhelming. I think I'm okay with it because if they gave you just performance of creation, I would be a little frustrated.
Oh, 100%.
Um, but because you get both that and note of potential, I'm okay with it being like because one is more mechanically useful. This one is more role playing or thought inducingly useful.
Yeah,
Which
like ultimately, performance creation is only limited by what you as the DM or the player can do. That is
right,
ultimately
like,
what it is.
but it's the financial value is the limit and your imagination.
100%.
So
And at some point, what is 20 times 20? That's what fucking expensive.
400.
It's a lot of gold worth that you could make a fake non-magical item. That's the size of what, huge?
Yeah.
You could create like a large wardrobe and like Narnia this shit. Make it sound like it has music in it, and then just open it and it's empty.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I like it. It's thought provoking because it's I know there are players like I'm not one of those players, but there are players that will just not abuse the shit out of it, but utilize it to its utmost degree. So
There's there's going to be someone who will find a way to make this absolutely annoying.
I mean, it does say non mag. It does say one. It does say non magical, and it gives you a size and like there are a lot of limiting. They're already limiting it, but they're giving you a lot of limiting parameters. So if you can figure out what you can do to be kind of badass within those parameters, I like it's one of those like I would give it to you type of thing. You're like you already limited by the size, you're limited by the gold value, you're limited by it can't be magical.
Like imagine you need to like pass over like a gorge. Like you couldn't run and jump it. Like it's a little too big for that. But you need a bridge, and you just magically create a bridge
Right.
depending on the size. Like that's a
Right. Yeah.
utility.
Yeah. Like medium size, or maybe you create a ramp or a
Yeah, it
ladder.
sounds
A
like
ladder. No, ladder would probably be large. Um,
even like as it gets bigger is more what I'm referencing. Like
right.
it,
Yeah. But like, yeah. No.
yeah,
It's
good.
it's one of those things that. Yeah. No. And if one of the things that I've already noticed, it's you create one non-magical item of your choice in an unoccupied space within 10 feet of you.
Oh fuck, I forgot about the 10 feet part.
Right. So it does not say that you have to be able to see that location.
That is true.
It does not say that you have like line of there's it's very like it's that line of sight, line of effect does not specify. So once again, if somebody's you're somebody's trapped somewhere, you can magically create some kind of something for them. Somebody's trapped without a weapon, your fighter's like, I could punch people for a while, but I'm gonna be like, cool, here you go, fighter, and you just create a great sword,
Yeah, it works out.
and now they have a weapon, or now they have rope. You know, it's similar in its usefulness, like the Echo Knight's Echo. You're really only limited. Your limitations for some of the uses are only your imagination. So no, I like that. I like it. I don't think I would. I don't think I have that specific brain to utilize it to its utmost degree. Um,
I definitely know some people who would be able to make this a really cool or really bad effect.
yeah. All right. Animating performance. By sixth level, as an action, you can target a large or smaller non-magic item you can see within 30 feet of you and animate it. The animate item uses the dancing item stat block, which uses your proficiency bonus. The item is friendly to you and your companions and obeys your commands. It lives for 1 hour until it is reduced to 0 hit points or until you die. Oh, I don't want to die. That sounds terrible. In combat, the item shares your initiative count, but it takes its turn immediately after yours. It can move and use its reaction on its own, but only action it can take on its turn is the dodge action, unless you take a bonus action on your turn to command it to take another action. The action can be one in its stat block or some other action. If you are incapacitated, the item can take any action of its choice, but not just dodge. When you use your Bardic Inspiration feature, you can command the item as part of the same bonus action to use your Bardic Inspiration. I like that. Once you animate an item with this feature, you can't do so again until you finish a long rest, unless you expend a spell slot if they're level higher. You have only one item animated. I'm not going to read the rest of that. I don't think this is super powerful. What is it? Does it get an attack? Force empowered slam. 1d10 plus. Yeah, it's not. It's like a temporary homunculus, essentially. But once again, and it's a construct, so it's immune to poison and psychic. You can command it to do things. It has a 4 intelligence, which is low, but you're not, as long as you're not, but it has the dexterity to perform certain actions, the strength. Like this, once again, this is good in combat, but could be utilized outside of combat pretty effectively as well. Like if it's, if it's a ladder, you're like, all right, ladder. Like this first thing that popped into my head. This is going to sound ridiculous. What's its movement speed? Hold on. What's its fly? It is a 30. It's 30 feet fly hover.
Also has a 30-foot movement.
Yeah, 30. But okay, there is a pit of acid, or there's a pit of poison. Let's say, poisonous pit or something that's like 20 feet deep, but like 50, 60, 70 feet long. You're like, we can't jump this. You're like, I'll just use this. I'll create a ladder, animate it, and then climb on the ladder. Or even a boat. You could create a boat, and it just like it's really once again, you're limiting because you can target a larger, smaller, non-magic item you can see. So you just fly your boat, Mary Poppins. You just umbrella, and you just hold on to the umbrella, and it flies you over the pit. And I'm like, I spent fucking days working on that. God damn it.
I just literally thought about how, like, you brought up the ladder. It's like, you animate this big ass ladder. It's like, all right, they'll use its force empowered slam. So it just like puts itself around someone's neck and flip itself and just slams them into the ground.
I've seen Jackie Chan movies. I know how that ends. But or now I'm thinking of like bed knobs and broomsticks, where it's just like you make a bed and it's just walking, and you're just sitting on the bed and just like shooting at stuff off of the bed. Like
you never have to walk again.
You never, at least for that hour.
Yeah.
It doesn't have a whole lot of hit points because it's only 10 plus 5 times your bard level. So at this point, it's 40 hit points. But oh man, and it's Abby. That's so funny.
It is definitely.
It's really because it does have a fly speed. So, and the hover, if I'm remembering correctly, hover means that if it loses its fly, if something happens, like if you try to knock it down, you can't knock it prone if it has a hover speed. Essentially, like it can't be like, because that's a great thing to use on a flying enemy is you hit them, and if it's something that would knock them down, like make them go prone, it makes them fall. Like they lose their ability to fly and they fall to the ground. Chips. I don't know if Chips has used it, but Chips is going to use it hopefully a lot more. But yeah, you fly like 90 feet into the air, smash something that's flying, knock it prone, and then it plummets, 90 feet to the ground. Um, and then I deactivate my fly and take my second swing as I come down on top of it. So it takes another 90 feet of fall damage. Um, but yeah, no, this it's useful in combat and could be useful out of combat, and it's really like what this was probably like a 7 to me. Like it's good, not super powerful or anything. Uh, it's solid. But the fact that you can command it as part of the same action that you use a bardic inspiration makes like such a difference to me.
It's really overpowered at
That's
that.
yeah. I don't say overpowered, but that definitely brings up its usefulness by a
You don't
severe
see a
degree.
lot of effects that allow you to use two
Right.
things at the same time.
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying it's overpowered.
Because like it's bardic inspiration isn't overpowered. So it's like you're using it's just more efficient use of your time essentially. Like it's giving you because it sucks having bonus actions like being a fighter and having like 4 different things you could do as a bonus action. My fighter has 3 things, and I'm like, I just have to pick which thing I use in which order, and hopefully I last or they last the 3 rounds that it takes me to activate all of my abilities because I'm a rune knight. Um, so I can biggen myself. I can use one of my runes to make myself resistant to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing, and then I have another one that well, I have 4. It's another one that heals me, my healing surge, and then another one that activates a feat that I have that's just bonus action. So I'm like, which I have to pick which one to use. Like, so it's good that it'd be nice, if it's like, oh, you can use this ability and use your healing surge. I'm like, sweet, cool, yeah. Not that fighters need much help; they're already pretty powerful and too powerful. But no, I really like this ability. I really, really like this ability. It has a lot of uses because it feels, because it's creation, so it's a little bit of um, artificery. All right, creative crescendo. At 14th level, when you use your performance of creation feature, you can create more than one item at once. The number of items equals to your charisma modifier, minimum of 2 items. That's nice. I like that. If you create an item that would exceed that number, you choose which of the previously created items disappear. Only one of these items can be the maximum size you create. The rest must be small or tiny. You're no longer limited by GP value when creating items with performance of creation.
This just
That
really buffs the entire thing.
right.
God damn it.
Yeah. Um, did you knock your thing out?
I moved the fucking.
Kids these days. Um, yeah, not
Of course, it's the wrong one. There it is.
they might have errated it, or there might be a sage wisdom or whatever about what you're allowed to create. Um, but taking away the gold piece value, like what's
Like you said,
because
this
at this point at 14, I think you can create the huge. Yeah, at 14 you create huge, so you could create. I mean, it's still I think it's still in the last uh, proficiency
it's still the
modifier
same.
hours, but you can create a cart, you can create a boat, you could create,
Yeah, cart for 6 hours is really important.
right. Um, well, 14, I think you're only at +5. I don't think you get +6 until like 16. But still, at least 5 hours of an item. But I mean, yeah, it's really like creating more than one is cool. Um, all of them have to be, one can be max size, the rest have to be small or tiny. Once again, you could create keys, or you want to create a whole ring of keys, or five keys, um, or a bunch of swords, or some armor
You know,
or like
this you brought up the swords. Imagine you use animating performance on those swords. Now you technically could use like the flying sword stat block or something like that. That's what I would do, honestly.
well
Like
it
give it.
it I it gives it in here it gives it a stat block.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like
I
you
know,
could.
I know, I know, I know. It's just because it's considered a dancing item, so it gives it the dancing item stat block. So that I would normally agree and be like, yeah, that makes sense. But because there's already
That's fair. I would
they
give
are
it like the like say the flying sword attack or something like that, something along that line.
I
Like
don't know. I would because this it's force empowered slam, so it's your spell attack modifier to hit one target you can see hit 1d10 plus uh, proficiency bonus force damage. So it's
I just
1d10
now
plus.
imagine like the bard flies the sword over and it's like, here, take this, and then they grab it and just what, just flip them. It's just I'm just imagining like cartoonish level
Oh my god!
stupidity.
Stop hitting yourself. I got this for
Right
you.
now.
And or it's like Fantasia, where it's like brooms, um, and chairs just beating the hell out of you. Yeah, creative crescendo like that. The removing the gold piece limit is feels like a lot because
It definitely
it still can't
helps.
be magical. But there are probably a lot of expensive things that you could create that would be helpful.
Create a plate armor.
Right. And
You
then
got
if because you're already if you know you're already a charisma based class, so if you know if you were a loser and played the stupidest class in existence, you could dip 3 levels in warlock. You have second level spell slots, so you could sack a spell slot to get the ability back.
and then
So
short rest. You're good.
and then short rest, yeah, and arguably like you animate it. Actually, if you go even higher, then you animate it. You create it and then you animate it, and then during that 1 hour, you're taking your short rest. So it's like a boat, and it's during that 1 hour you're taking your short rest to get those 2 spell slots back. And then you sack one to animate a third level slot to get it again, and then a second level slot. Well, you don't have to sack it again to create another item, but yeah, just wee.
Yeah, it's
Oh, I just realized it's like that those memes where it's like where they have the whoever the subject of the video is in like the boat, and it's the like Titanic music in the background as they're just like floating down a river or whatever. I was like, it's just like that
this is
because it's singing, so it's making noise. So it's like doo 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 doo, as you're just like, hey, what's going on? How's everybody doing? Or or you could it could be like a float, so you could just have it in parades, and it'll move itself.
you
Um,
could sell the float for
it's
lease the float out for like X amount of gold for the event that it's needed for.
right,
It's a business idea.
yeah. All right. Um, Next one. All right, that's it for that college. Uh, I don't hate it. I liked it. Like I said, I'm not a bard person, so
It was definitely decent.
yeah, no, it's a good one. I
Heard there's
like it.
better ones, but I do like this one.
Like if I was playing a character that want like I would, it's maybe dip a couple levels into bard just for the primary, for a couple of stuff. I mean, my cleric of mask dipped a couple levels in bard, but that was specifically for College of Eloquence. Which College of Eloquence? Obviously, I'm not eloquent since I messed up saying words. Um, First ability for College of Eloquence, Silver Tongue. Starting at third level, you are a master of saying the right thing at the right time. When you make a Charisma Persuasion or Charisma Deception check, you can treat a d20 roll of 9 or lower as a 10. So effectively, you can take a passive persuasion or deception check. So as a GM, like as I don't really get to use my persuasion very much, because because usually things I say are more intimidating. Be like, hey, how about you let us do that, or if you don't let us do this, we'll murder you. I don't know how to be persuasive. That's why I don't like bards.
Just persuasive in a hostile sense.
Right, but and you're a bard too, so that you can have expertise, which I have. Um, I think in persuasion, I think I'm expertise in perception, persuasion, insight, and something else. I think maybe not, but yeah, like I think I have like a 9 to my persuasion. So because charisma isn't my best stat, because I'm primarily a cleric. Um, but I'm like my persuade like and my Curtis brings up he's like persuasion isn't mind control, and I'm like yeah, but isn't it like a little bit?
Hey, we've seen cult leaders. It's pretty damn
Right,
close.
exactly. So it's like it is and it isn't, but as a class that does a lot of talking, this is a incredibly useful ability because it's one of those things that it always sucks as a player that you have this great like it's even worse in combat when you're doing some you like this great plan about what you want to happen and
It
then
is true.
you roll a 2. You're like cool,
It happened in my game last night.
great, fantastic. So like it's even worse when you're in a less stressful situation and you're just
Yeah,
like
you're
you're
trying to
just
get like say free lodging at the local inn, and you
right,
just
yeah, you're just trying to do whatever or persuade somebody to let you through a gate or whatever, and then how do you justify? Because like, how do you justify you as a player? Like, if you role play it, this is also one of those things that like as a if you going in the if you're not great at role playing, which there's nothing wrong with being not a charismatic player, it forces you to be like, I'm gonna try a persuasion check, and then like like it's one of those things like your character is charismatic, like you're trained in it, like you should be at least moderately okay at it in most situations, but if you roll poorly or you're having a bad day or whatever, like it just sucks.
yeah, no, I agree. This tries to limit that.
So yeah, but it's I mean you can talk your way out of trouble in or into places. You can persuasive or deceptive. It's a really good ability.
I just imagine it's like that entire thing that you I've seen it a lot, but it's like if you don't belong, look like you don't belong, just bring a clipboard and wear a security vest, like
Right,
one of the yellow security things.
right.
It's like
Um,
just
so the next ability is unsettling words. Also at third level, you can spin words laced with magic that unsettle a creature and cause it to doubt itself. As a bonus action, you can expend one use of your bardic inspiration and choose one creature you can see within 60 feet of you. Roll the bardic inspiration die. The creature must subtract the number rolled from the next saving throw it makes before the start of your next turn. So this is one of those like you really want somebody to fail their saving throw because this is like it's important for your fighter to hit or your wizard to hit with their spell, but sometimes you really want somebody to fail their saving throw because you know you want them to be mind controlled, or you want them to fail the dex save, or you want whatever, like,
yeah, like,
or
imagine someone like you use this ability to on a big bad like the BBG, and then someone silvery barbs on top of that, like just to really make sure that it's bad. It's like, no, you're just specifically targeting it to make sure they do not get what the desired outcome on their end. I could see how potent this can get.
right, yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, because bards get silvery barbs, so yeah, it's even better because you're like, not only are you getting, I'm using my bonus action, so you get negative, d6, d8, d12, d10, or whatever. You're getting negative, at least a -1 to your next saving throw roll. You also are going to roll with disadvantage, type of thing. It's good on its own. Or hear me out now. Hear me out. Or if you as a player know that you're fighting a werewolf and you know it's going to bite you and you want to come down with lycanthropy. I don't know why I pronounced it like that. So as your bonus action, you expend one use of your bardic inspiration to choose one creature. I am a creature within 60 feet. You can see within 60 feet of you. I can see myself, and I'm within 60 feet of myself. This is exactly. I know this seems very specific, but because this is exactly what I did for my cleric to get bit and infected with lycanthropy. And I even threw down my shield and was like, "Bite me, go ahead."
It's a kink thing, I promise.
So it's real funny. It's even better now because I make jokes about. I'm like, well, it's not my fault I have lycanthropy.
It was attacked.
So yeah. So the whole thing is, it's if you want yourself to fail a saving throw, or an ally, if you need your fighter to you need them to fail that saving throw for whatever reason, or so it's. I like that it specifies creature because normally you can't target yourself with bardic inspiration. So this is a way that you can target yourself. If you want to intentionally, because you can't technically intentionally fail, I don't think. Not all of them. You can intentionally fail a strength save or a dex save. Con, not so much because that's your body, and then the other three, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma, you can't really. There's only so much you could do to prevent if it doesn't hit, it doesn't hit type of thing. So this is your way of being I want to forget things, so I target myself with this so that when the person hits me with the thing, and then they can modify my memory so I don't remember it happening.
Modify memory, Jesus.
Yep. All right, so that's a great ability. It's the opposite. It's kind of like cutting words for lore bards, except it's kind of in advance instead of as a reaction. So unfailing inspiration. At 6th level, your inspiring words are so persuasive that others feel driven to succeed. When a creature adds one of your bardic inspiration dice to an ability check, attack roll, or saving throw, and the roll fails, the creature can keep the bardic inspiration die. This is so good.
That is really good because
this is one
to recast. It's just
I hate. Yeah, that is the worst feeling. I guarantee everybody knows that feeling, where you roll and maybe you're 2 points away from hitting, but you roll a 1 on your bar die. You're like, God damn it!
The entire thing is oh, I'm guaranteed. Even though you're not, it's you are so sure that you're gonna get it, and then you roll so low, and what the fuck? Yeah, trust me.
Yeah. So, it's almost it's like a no but type of situation. Do I hit even with my bardic inspiration? No, but you get to keep your bardic inspiration die, so you could do it again. Because it's one of those things that if you're somebody who swings multiple times, you swing once, you miss, bardic inspiration die, still miss, cool, keep the die. Second swing, roll better, roll a die, you hit, cool, you hit. So you could use it, you could still lose it in the same turn, but on a different roll.
I would argue to say this is probably one of the best bard features, because the only reason why I'm saying that is that you would normally lose bardic inspiration for a miss or just fail.
Right.
This, you get to keep it if you fail. Arguably one of the best features.
Oh yeah, no, I'm agreed. It's 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 not, situational. It's not situationally powerful like a lot of some of these abilities are.
It's
Like
just you failed.
it's
Guess what? You
solid.
get to
It's
keep it.
yeah, it's always a solid like 8, you know. Like
Yeah,
it's always solid because it's like it's a no but. No, you fail, but you get to keep the bar die. So then next turn, when you roll, especially like or you're stunned or paralyzed or something, and you roll at the beginning of your turn. Um, you technically death saves are barred against or are saving throws technically. So you can add a bardic inspiration die to your death save.
yeah. Because the way I've always ran it was it's just a straight roll from the die. So yeah, you could.
Well, yeah, because
Not.
if you're near if you're near a paladin, their saving throw bonus applies to your death saves.
Yeah,
Or
that's
um, if you're I think if you have the cloak of protection that gives you a +1 on all your saving throws, that includes your death saves. I think I'm fairly certain. I could be wrong on that, but so I mean, this is one of those like you roll a death save and you're like, all right, I've got a 2, and you roll your bard die and you roll another 2. You're like, fuck. But then you're like, well, I get to keep it for next turn. Type of
yeah.
thing. Yeah, like I said, there's no negative. There's no negative to this
It's just a
because it's recuperating a valuable resource because it's a win-win. Like it's a win better than straight loss. Like
yeah.
because either you succeed or you fail, but you still get to keep it. So it's solid. Yeah, like I said, it's a solid 8. Period. Like some of the abilities might be Silver Tongue is great if you're schmoozing, but in
But that's
combat it's
just
probably not
one.
great. Um, Unless you're one of the classes that uses deception checks for something, um, or whatever. But like always being able to get you keep it until until you succeed essentially. It's very much a keep trying until you win type of thing. All right, then universal speech. Also at 6th level, you have gained the ability to make your speech intelligible to any creature. As an action, choose one or more creatures within 60 feet of you, up to a number equal to your charisma modifier. The chosen creatures can magically understand you, regardless of the language you speak, for 1 hour. Once you use this feature, you can't use it again until you finish a long rest, unless you expend a spell slot to use it again. So that means Falcon. I called her out yesterday while I was streaming. Um, because in her game, we didn't have a bard in the group. We had a paladin, a barbarian, and my blood hunter. But so it's not like it would have been useful. But we ran into a tribe of lizard folk. We tried talking. We don't speak Draconic. They don't speak Common. So there was the language barrier. And then we tried persuasion and we tried checks to be like, hey, we're not here to fight. We're friends type of thing. Um, and they didn't buy it, or it's not that they didn't buy us. They didn't believe us, I guess. Um, and then a fight broke out, and then we accidentally slaughtered the majority of the tribe because we're not going to start a fight because we're the Blood Angels or the Blood Ravens. We're not gonna we start plenty of fights. I don't want to lie and say that we don't start fights. We start plenty of fights, but if we are trying to not start a fight, cool. But if somebody I don't know if somebody starts shit with us, we're gonna end it. I was trying to word it in such a way, but like
No,
we
I got what you were trying to
yeah,
get.
yeah,
It
I
was
know
just
we
really
like to
confusing.
find me fucking babbling. See, this is why I don't have silver tongue because I'm fucking persuading over my feet over here. Um, it's I'm sitting. That's why I'm sitting down because I can't walk around with my feet in my mouth. But there's a lot of the issues are a lot of some of the issues are language. There's a language barrier in the game, and so removing the language barrier is incredible. Like once again, this might not be as solid as like unfailing inspiration, But this, depending on the situation, is a straight fucking 10, 11, 12. Like, it's breaking the fucking board. Like, there are so many issues that could be like, hey, you're like, you do some mumbo jumbo, you're like, cool, we all understand each other, we can all talk to each other now. I'd be like, oh, hey, we understand. You'd be like, yeah, I did a thing so we can talk. Like, it only lasts, an hour, so let's try to get all of this, but we're not here to fight. And you know what the best part is? Be like, hey, why doesn't everybody calm down? I'm very persuasive, type of thing. Like, you can de-escalate situations because people can understand you now.
And the beautiful part about this is that it doesn't take a spell slot,
Right.
how comprehend languages would. So it's like
Right. And it
it works.
says that you expend a slot. It does not specify a level 2 slot, a level 3 slot, a level 4 slot. Like, you can just drop your first level spell slots and get, and so it's, yeah, this is situationally like god tier,
Yeah.
because suddenly I can talk to the dwerger, be like, hey, we're not here to fight. Be like, oh shit, we understand you. Be like, yeah, you understand us, we understand you. We're chatting. You
You
know,
just go to something that's like a fucking beholder or something else that speaks deep, something that is completely like not normally spoken. And you're like, sup, bruh. I
Sup,
speak
bruh.
language.
I
And it's like,
speak language. Um,
fuck.
as art, well, it's even better because arguably, if you are playing the bard, then especially if you're going College of Eloquence, you are the face of the party. So being able to talk as the face of the party to literally anything makes all the difference in the world.
So so in my buddy's game where I'm playing both my goblins, one is a bard, not this class, but I could have definitely utilized this because they had the what are those frog creatures? They're fuck. They're like little tiny frogs, and the
The
grung, I think it
grung,
is.
grung, yeah.
Yeah. Uh, they were aggressive, and we couldn't talk to them. Now they were gonna attack us anyways. But it's funny because if it wasn't for the fact that we had some lizard folk on our side that we were helping, and there were lizard folk that were in opposition, and they started talking, it's like we would have had no real ability to communicate anything and like split the battle because we convinced the other lizard folk to help us defeat the grung, even though we're like level 3, I think, and they barely do a lot of damage. It's just they had a lot of grung on their side. Just in terms of action economy, we would have probably lost had we not gotten like another 3 or 4 lizard folk to help with that. Because we were rolling terribly that day. So had I possibly gotten this ability,
Hmm.
I could have theoretically convinced them, like the Grung, to not attack. It
I'll
would have been
I'll do
pretty
you one
interesting.
better actually. Not even a specific example, but how many spells say this ability or spell does not work if the enemy can't understand you, or if you don't speak the same language?
I don't know.
It's now I don't want to say it's a substantial amount, but enough that this is even more useful. If you're like, boom, we talk to each other, cool. They're like, well, we're not going to talk to you. I'm like, cool. Now I'm going to cast something to dominate you, and you understand what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah, now you have to.
I think command might not work if you don't speak a language, like, or if they don't, type of thing. But there's so many things that there are enough spells that are like, if they don't, if you don't share a language, then they get, a saving throw, like a addition, like advantage, or it automatically fails, or there's like things that you could just be like, cool, you now, because they magically understand you, whether they like it or not. Yeah, so that could be a ridiculously powerful ability. Um, in certain combats, not great, but certain other situations, just nasty. All right. Infectious inspiration. At 14th level, when you successfully inspire someone, the power of your eloquence can now spread to someone else. When a creature within 60 feet of you adds one of your bardic inspiration dice to its ability check, attack roll, or saving throw, and the roll succeeds, you can use your reaction to encourage a different creature, other than yourself, that can hear you within 60 feet of you, giving it a bardic inspiration die without expending any of your bardic inspiration uses. You can use this reaction a number of times equal to a charisma modifier, and you regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. So that means that effectively you have 5 more bardic inspirations per day than you normally would, or 5 more in a period of time than you would have. Because if you have the 5 and then you're in the middle of combat and people are using them left and right, that means other allies are using them left and right. So like you're just
Yeah, like that's pretty impressive. Like I had to reread it just so I could understand it better, but it's like, dude, like this is this is a very strong college. I wouldn't like there's all like, dude, this is so fucking good. Like just looking at how this is set up.
especially with unfailing inspiration.
Yeah,
So
dude, like that's
so
fucking
it's
cool.
you fail and like you keep your bardic inspiration. So now it's such good useful efficiency of your bardic inspirations because I give it
Yeah.
to you, but you fail the check, so you get to keep it. Or you succeed the check, and I use my reaction to give that person another bardic inspiration. Like so, yeah, it's such a great efficiency of using bardic inspirations. I love it. This is what my bard is. Although he's not going to go much higher, because I only
He's a
took 3 levels. I'm probably going to go the next 17 in cleric. But
very good class. I definitely like
yeah,
it.
this is a great college. Yeah, this is probably their strongest college in my opinion. Like all of them are. Some of them are good. Some of them are great. Some of them are meh. But this one's a great one. All right, on to College of Glamour. See, this is one of the basic ones, so it's very straightforward.
Yeah, it's this is actually what my goblin is in my buddy's game.
All right, College of Glamour, Mantle of Inspiration. When you join the College of Glamour at 3rd level, you gain the ability to weave a song of Fey magic that imbues your allies with vigor and speed. As a bonus action, you can expend 1 use of your Bardic Inspiration to grant yourself a wondrous appearance. When you do so, choose a number of creatures you can see and who can see you within 60 feet of you, up to a number equal to your Charisma modifier, minimum of 1. Each of them gains 5 temporary hit points. When a creature gains these temporary hit points, it can immediately use its reaction to move up to its speed without provoking opportunity attacks. The number of temporary hit points increases when you reach certain levels in this class, increasing to 8 at 5th level, 11 at 10th level, and 14 at 15th level. This is this is one of those like tactically great in combat ones.
Yeah, because not only do you get temporary hit points, but
Right.
each creature can use its reaction to move up to its speed without provoking
Right.
opportunity of attack that
Yeah.
you
So
select.
if you're trying to rearrange the board, like if I was creating a like Warlord was like my favorite 4th edition class. This is something similar to this is what I would give a Warlord, where you can once per long rest, you can just maybe even short rest, you can shift the battlefield around essentially, because there's some situations where because it's 60 feet, so maybe something happened and you're separated and there's enemies in the way or near them that they can't, that they have to be careful of. But you're like, or let's do this. You move and you target, some allies. They use the reactions and then they can, run around the enemies and get close to you. So now the fighters get to kind of like shoop de whoop, you know, out of there with temporary hit points. I mean, there's no negative unless you already have temporary hit points. It never hurts to gain more temporary hit points.
Yeah, I agree.
I- like
Temp hit points are super important. And in my opinion, I don't really in my games, mainly in the beginning of me learning how to play D&D, this was like, oh, you only get like a very small amount. Like it's really not that important. But like, dude, in the beginning of D&D, mainly when you're starting off at low levels and creatures aren't doing a lot of damage and you don't have a lot of health, that's 6, 3, even 1 hit point
Yeah,
would mean a
it
lot.
could.
And
Yeah.
started translating further. It's like, dude, I don't have to take 8 points of damage really. Like it's a buffer.
Right. Yeah. You're a first level wizard. Maybe you're smart and put your Constitution as your on one of your better stats. So maybe you have a +1. So you have 7 hit points. You get hit by an orc first level, normal damage. There's a good chance it's just killing you outright because it's gonna theoretically do probably 12 points of damage, but is it as likely to do 14 points of damage? Like, so it's one of those things that, or even more. Like, you gain 2 temporary hit points. Now you're able to take 9 before going down. Like, it's always useful. That's why, like, the battle rager, anytime they use their reckless assault, they gain temporary hit points equal to their Constitution modifier. Like, five for a barbarian, for anybody, temporary hit points every round is solid.
Yeah, seriously.
So for temporary hit points is great for everybody, but something that gives, once again, you're a bard, so theoretically your charisma is your highest stat. So you have a 16 or an 18, or hopefully by 4th level you might have a 20. Like, you're giving the party at that point. You're giving like in a good group you have an 18, let's say. You're giving because it doesn't say you can't target yourself. So um, you just give everybody in the party, even if nothing else, you give everybody um, 5 temporary hit points as a bardic inspiration, which it uses your bardic inspiration. This is probably one of the few things that's better. Like, we were just discussing how great bardic inspiration usage was for College of Eloquence. Like, this is great. Everybody gets 5 temp hit points, and everybody can move as a reaction without provoking. Like, you could rearrange
Definitely,
the entire battlefield as one bonus action and subsequent reactions. Or
definitely a downside to this.
like, yeah, it's so good because at this point you have 3, 4, up to 5 bardic inspirations per long rest, and then once you reach 5th level, you have per short rest. So, like, in combat, you go, cool, right out the gate. Maybe the enemy is too far away, and you're like, all right, our whole party's going first. So you just boop.
Now
So
they have dash action or
yeah,
the
everybody
dash
gets a dash.
reaction.
Everybody gets to move it. Yeah, that's Mantle Inspiration is real good. Once again, it's not the best out of combat. It doesn't have really temporary points out of combat. If you run into traps or you know, but there's no social benefit to this per se. But this is a really strong combat ability. All right, enthralling performance. Starting at 3rd level, you can change your performance with seductive fey magic. You charge your performance with seductive fey magic. If you perform for at least 1 minute, you can attempt to inspire wonder in your audience by singing, reciting a poem, or dancing. At the end of the performance, choose a number of humanoids within 60 feet of you who watched and listened to all of it, up to a number equal to your charisma modifier, minimum of 1. Each target must succeed on a wisdom saving throw against your spell save DC or be charmed by you. While charmed in this way, the target idolizes you, it speaks glowingly of you to anyone who speaks to it, and it hinders anyone who opposes you, avoiding violence unless it was already inclined to fight on your behalf. The effect ends on a target after 1 hour if it takes any damage, if you attack it, or if it witnesses you attacking or damaging any of its allies. If the target succeeds on a saving throw, the target has no hint that you tried to charm it. Once you use this feature, you can't use it again until you finish a short or long rest. That's disgusting.
Yeah,
Sorry, I I'm very much on the enchantment is the most evil school of magic, hands
agreed.
down. Because everybody's like, oh, necromancy is evil. But, like, yeah, I'm only manipulating the already dead. I'm not like I can kill people, but evocation kills people. So if you're going to judge people by their ability to kill other people, evocation is more evil than necromancy. If you're like, I'm not controlling somebody who's still alive, that's you, enchantment. So I'm still not as evil as enchantment.
Also,
So
let's not forget that most like talk about conjuration or necromancy, whatever you want to do. It's like their souls are usually already outside of their body, like they're already put somewhere else.
right,
You're
unless it specifies that their soul is being trapped inside of whatever body you're creating.
yeah,
And
it's
yeah, that's that's
disappearing.
that's where I would say if it's specified, then that's where enchantment and necromancy are
Yeah,
evil,
yeah,
are the same level of evil.
yeah.
But unless specified, no. And
Yeah,
and
you're
and
disappearing at that point.
enchantment, the benefit of it, like an enchantment wizard, they can just go as like one of their abilities at like second level, and if you fail, they could just kind of like mind numb you, they mind stun you for like a minute, and then and you don't know what happened. Like you don't know that you were mind fucked for a minute. So
You don't know your
because
mind fucked for a minute. That's a great sentence.
because because it says that they don't know that you tried to charm them. So
Yeah,
arguably, theoretically, I guess that means that if they fail, they know that you tried to charm them. But I don't. It doesn't specify that, but it does specify that if they succeed, they don't know that you tried to charm them. So that's the
to be
big thing about
fair,
enchant. A lot of enchantment spells, like spells, are like you try to hit the person, like friendship or friends. They know that you manipulated them.
yeah, it knows, and they know if you fail too. So that I would say because it doesn't specify that they know if you fail, I wouldn't say
Right,
that
exactly. It
because they specify if you fail, they know. So I would say no, it
right.
doesn't.
So yeah, this is an incredibly broken third level ability that you can use once per short rest.
I've used attempted to use this once so far as my character, and it worked out.
But like
So
this
very
is,
very
and
good.
it's an hour. It's not like 1 minute or 10 minutes. It's an hour. So now you have thralls essentially for an hour, up to 5 thralls for an hour. Like this is like I. This goes on to the side of like no, it's not. It's not strong. It's too powerful, in my opinion. Like it's like
Please nerf.
right,
Mm,
like diva. Her
Is that over?
radi- her radius is too large. That's my real issue. It's not that she does so much damage with her ultimate. It's that her ultimate's radius is ludicrously huge.
Isn't that Overwatch?
Yeah, I'm like a block and a half away. Okay, I'm not that fucking far, but like I'm a sizable distance away and I still get hit by her ultimate. I'm like, what the shit? And I'm a tank. Anyway, I don't know. I actually haven't played in like a year. But no, this is too strong. This is not this is unfair. If you removed the ability that they if they succeed then they if they knew that you tried to charm them, I would be fine with it. But having that one ability shifts this from a 7 to a 15 because that makes all the difference. Like that's the big thing. So many magic spells are like if they succeed, they know you tried to charm them. If they fail, after it's over, they know you charmed them. Like people know when you fucked with their heads. Apparently, this is so good that they don't know that you fucked with their heads.
Not today, motherfucker.
So I like it, but I think it's too powerful, in my humble opinion.
And
But
you're a very humble individual.
I'm very humble. I mean, you're watching the channel for our opinions, so I don't guess I don't have to specify.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. This entire series is purely
Facts.
based on object opinion.
All right. I love it and hate it at the same time. Um,
Love and hate it at the same time, buddy. Same.
Mood. Uh, Mantle of Majesty. At 6th level, you gain the ability to cloak yourself in a fey magic that makes others want to serve you. As a bonus action, you cast Command without expending a spell slot, and you can take on an appearance of unearthly beauty for 1 minute or until your concentration ends, as if you were concentrating on a spell. During this time, you can cast Command as a bonus action on each of your turns without expending a spell slot. Any creature charmed by you automatically fails its saving throw against a command you cast with this feature. Once you use this feature, you can't use it again until you finish a long rest. So this just plays into enthralling performance. Essentially. You do your enthralling performance, they all fucking love you, and then you could just command them to do shit.
They all fucking love you.
For a minute, they've automatically like, no, this is busted. Like, no,
like this definitely, the way that I'm looking at it, because I just like it's heavily into the Fae, right? Like it's definitely meant for that. So
right.
I feel like this takes into the point to where it's like, the Feywild is like this magical, oppressive place where everything is trying to one up you and get into your head somehow. At least that's the way I've always interpreted it. So it's like I'm seeing that it's like this is like the Feywild leaking into you type of thing, and like you're granted the abilities of these things. So it's like you're just more or less just so goddamn one. This thing like lets you change your appearance, and you gradually change your appearance to be more Fey related as it is. It's like, dude, you're gonna be like fucking some hot fucking bard that's just literally seductively telling people to do what you want as a character, and they're gonna be enticed to do so in most cases, unless you fail the DC. And even if you fail, still works out for you because they don't fucking know. It's so good.
Yeah, it's the combo of the 3rd level ability and then the 6th level ability. Like I already said that the 3rd level ability was too powerful. With the addition of Mantle of Majesty, no, it's incredibly broken.
Fucking nasty.
Like there's like how do you balance as a GM? As a player, you're like, this is great. But as a GM, how like cool. Because there's no way to do it fairly as a GM. Because if I throw things at you that can be charmed, apparently you could just fucking charm them. And if I throw things at you that can't be charmed, you're gonna be pissy because you don't get to use your charm abilities. So there's
for a mixture of things.
There's no benefit. There's no safe side to be on for this. You're either the asshole who you're either your players are shit stomping your entire campaign because they're just whining and dining and schmoozing their way through every fucking thing. And this is just the bard. This isn't even counting if you have a fighter who's if maybe a paladin instead of a fighter who's charisma based. Like you have a rogue, maybe you have a cleric of whatever. Like
I am so glad that we're talking about this while I'm still playing this character, because I can just take these.
You're realizing how broken your character is going to be. Yeah,
broke this is. It's like, dude, I get to fucking abuse this now.
Whose game is this in?
This is one of the people that I play with in person here in Florida. It's my buddy Corey's game. So
I'm sorry, Corey.
I'm gonna get him to watch this video.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
I already convinced this like minor BBEG character in our game, and I convinced that my goblin I convinced the Wizard of Thay, and they hooked up, and now they're on our side. I already did that. So guess what? There's already a Dragonborn that looks like they might need some action.
Yeah, I'm worried now about going to the 14th level ability now.
I don't know.
It's not it's not fun. It's like as a player, I love Mantle of Inspiration is thus far the only thing that I'm like, that's good. But like these are like, cool, you're my bitch. Da 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 da, you love me. And then I command you to do things. Like this is great for a heist, but it's the whole plan goes out the fucking window. Like this is like if Ocean's 11, if there was a whole plan, and then in walked George Clooney 50 minutes into the movie when the heist starts, and he just starts like, oh, I like to sing about the moon and the stars and the springer. And then like whoever owned the casino was like, oh man, I love you. You're the best. I'm so charmed by you. And he's like, Give me all your money. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna give you all my money. Like,
It's a deed to
the
the
movie's
casino.
over. The whole fucking movie's over. Anyway, Unbreakable Majesty. This makes me mad. Um, at 14th level, your appearance permanently gains an otherworldly should be underworldly. It gains an otherworldly aspect that makes you look more lovely and fierce. I
That's what I
said
was
it perfect.
referencing.
Right. Shh. In addition, as a bonus action, you can assume a magically majestic presence for 1 minute or until you are incapacitated. For the duration, whenever any creature tries to attack you for the first time on a turn, the attacker must make a charisma saving throw against your spell save DC. On a failed save, it can attack you on this turn, and it must choose a new target for its attack, or the attack is wasted. On a successful save, it can attack you on this turn, but has disadvantage on any saving throws it get. Fuck you!
It's
Makes you get your
fucking
spells on your
broken,
next
dude.
turn. Once you assume this, yeah, you short rest. Fuck you.
Dude, I remember reading this for the first time and I remember it being broken, and that was like months before the game started. And so I was like, all right, and I already knew that I had it set. Rereading this is just so fucking great because it's just like, dude, I knew there's a reason why I selected this. This is great.
This was broken before the fact that you can get it back with a short rest.
And then it just
Because
fucking broke
because
more.
if you're fighting something, it's one of those things.
Dude,
If you're fighting something that can get through your charisma can succeed a charisma saving throw, they're
fuck, I
probably not
can't.
hitting. They're probably not swinging as hard because the
Dude,
creatures that hit real hard are like giants and most dragons. But that's so
College Glamour comes from Xanathars, one of the earliest supplemental books, not even a fucking module. It literally came so soon and it's broke as fuck.
like I probably wouldn't let somebody play this if I'm being honest. Like somebody's like, I'm gonna go college. Like somebody's like, I'm going to college to Glamour. Like if I read through that and I'm like, let me double check it. Like I'm like, no, sorry, I'm no.
You have
I
to put,
and you know how accommodating I am as a GM.
you are.
I let so much bullshit slide because it's fun. This is not fun. This is not fun
You,
for anybody. This is
if you
this is this is
decided,
fun for one person. This is like your character. You're having the fucking time of your life. Everybody else is like, cool. I really wish we could fucking do. Like I said, this is Ocean's 11, where everybody else is like, cool. I'm the fighter. I beat stuff up. I'm the rogue. I break stuff. I'm the wizard. I do this. And then the bard's like, I like to sing about the moon and the stars and the springer. And like, we love you. Here's all
it's
our
great.
money. Like
It is so great
this is
because,
the cult leader.
yeah, it's a Charles Manson of the group, but not as murdery. Could be, could be, but I wanted to make the separation there for a second. But dude, like, it's broken to the point to where I have so many thoughts on how to continue breaking it because this went from like arguably be- one of the best subclasses that I've ever played. And you know me, I love Blood Hunters. I have been willing to play this class over Blood Hunters just because I can play this.
Yeah, like I said, it's not fun. It's not even because it is too powerful. It's like I said, it's I wouldn't let anybody play this because it's gonna go one of two ways. Either I have things that can be charmed and they are charmed, and then that negates so many parts of the fucking like all the encounters and like all of the plans go out the window because you have a
So
fucking because of your groupies. Or I throw things at you that you can, like that are immune to charm, and you, like I throw undead at you, and you can't use any of your abilities. So either you're getting either there's no winning because either a
so
you're charming everybody, and it's not fun for everyone because especially me as the GM because you're just steamrolling everything I've created because everybody loves you and you're the best. You're Lestat in Queen of the Vampire or Queen of the Damned.
so personally, how I would go about this, like say like they're going for the top, they're going to become the king of the kingdom or the queen, whatever, the ruler of a kingdom. first of all, I'm pretty sure that the ruler of the kingdom would probably have something to where they can't be charmed because they're smart, they're rich, they would have enough money to afford such things. A ring that would be against being charmed, something like that. They'd have their own really close ensemble that would have similar things. I feel like that certain characters would just, based off of intelligent running of the DM, would make it to where it'd be impossible to do something like that. But who says that they don't get some of the dukes, the lower tier people who probably can be persuaded? It's like, dude,
It's
you have a
right.
revolution in fucking hands.
Yeah, it's or I throw things at you that are immune, and now most of your abilities are useless, and
Yeah,
you're and you're upset. And this happened to me in Curtis's game. I finally remembered one of my abilities and tried to use it on an enemy, and that enemy just circumstantially was immune to charm because essentially they were too dumb to be charmed. And I was like,
yeah,
cool,
that's
fucking
accurate.
awesome. I finally have an ability against a perfect target because they're gonna fail their wisdom save or whatever it is because it's the one that like the rune that makes them drowsy and makes you go to sleep for like a minute. Like I was like, this is a perfect target to use this on. And then they're immune to charm, so it doesn't do anything. And I was pissed. I'm still angry that that happened. And that's one ability that I barely remember I have on my Minotaur Rune Knight fighter. Like I'm too busy beating the shit out of things with my dire cleaver to remember that I have this one little ability that makes people go, "Ooh, sleepy time." Like, but I'm still mad that it was, I know that I'm still mad that it was immune. The one time I tried to use it, it was immune. Like, so it's this would require so much. I think the problem is this would require too much work to make to be a viable option because as a GM, I have to put in so much effort planning around this ability that it's just like it's just like I get it. I would rather you be upset at me and you play a different bard subclass than
I
have
just
you
think, yo,
than me spend 30, 40 hours a week plotting and working around your broke ass abilities. Because it's like I said, it's not going to be fun. Like you're going to have a blast because you like playing broke ass characters because you love Gestalt. But like it's gonna be fun, Brandon. And then at some point, it's not going to be fun anymore because the game it's like playing on easy mode, and you're like, well, it's not challenging anymore.
that's fair. I also like personally, like I go for what makes a lot more sense to my characters. So like my character that I have it is like an insult comic, so it's like she totally would go down the route of just like schmoozing all over the place. But her brother, who doesn't care for a life of luxury and shit, is just like, why the fuck are you doing this? Let alone like the campaign like kind of limits that. But imagine like you're so goddamn good. Like are dragons immune to being charmed?
I don't know.
You know what? I have a fucking monster manual.
We're
I will look this up.
we're we're really over time on this, so I don't like this one. I'm surprised I ran into a subclass so early on that I absolutely fucking hate because it like I said it's to make it a viable option for you to play it in my game. I have to spend so much time having enemies that you can use this against or use your charm abilities against, and it's just like why I I feel like this is one of those things like if we were about to start the game like I think I'm gonna go glamour. I'm like I would request. I'm like no, you can't go glamour. Please pick something
Fair,
else.
I would under I
And
would
you're like, oh, but I want to go. I'm like, here's the problem, and I explain that because of how broken your abilities are, I will have to spend so much more of my time building encounters and plans in the game around your broken ass abilities that it's not going to be fun for me anymore. And you're
no,
like,
that's
all right, and you're
understandable.
like, yeah, that's fair. All right, like most players, this is one of those things that it's kind of like if you're switching therapists. It's if you're like, I don't think this is working out for me. I want a new therapist. I think I'm going to go find a new therapist. If they're a good therapist, they're going to be like, totally understand. I hope the best for you. if they're a shitty therapist, they'll be like, no, that's terrible. Why would you do that? And then you don't want them to be your therapist anyway. Like, so there's like even the shitty situation is like there's still a win because you found out that you have a shitty therapist. It's the same thing. If you're like, if I was like, I think that Glamour is broken, I am not allowing it. And you're like, no. And if you throw a hissy fit because you can't play one of the 8 Bardic subclasses, and I probably, I mean, there's also, I mean, there might be some in Strixhaven. There's Maestro. There's Dirge Singer. Like, there's some that I might allow. Like, if you're like, what about this one from the Unearthed Arcana, or what about this one from that I found on DM's Guild or whatever? I'm like, I like that one. That one's fine. Like I said, I'm a very accommodating GM. As like, if as long as we have the discussion, be like, at some point, I'm like, no, this one's getting a little too out of hand. Can we tone down these abilities, especially if it's like a DM's Guild, if it's not like published by Wizards, so it's been arguably like this one's been vetted. That's the worst issue. This one has been vetted. This one was vetted and passed, and then you look at there's some subclasses that are just garbage and useless, and you're like, how did Glamour Bard pass the vetting, but then you have like people bitch about Purple Dragon Knight. You're like, how is that? Where's the justification? One class has super overpowered abilities, and one has like, meh, I could ship potatoes. I'm very creative when I'm angry about things. No, I hate this. I hate this subclass. I will never allow this in my game.
It definitely is one of those things where it's like, it's fucking.
Yeah, because I can't even say that it's because it's circumstantially powerful, because enthralling performance, very circumstantial, but if you're a good role player, if you're a good bard player, you're gonna make it. You're like, because you have to sing, recite a poem, or dance. People might not know that you're reciting a poem. Like, you could go to a court. You go to court and recite a poem for a minute, and then now you've charmed the entire courtroom, or the people that matter in the courtroom.
You just effectively fucked everything.
Specifically, maybe the 5 jurors that didn't already like you. You've now charmed them.
Won them over. Bam.
Like, so it's too powerful. And like Mantle of Majesty, you're like, oh, I took on this thing, and for a minute I can just be like, oh, as a bonus action, cast a spell that just makes people sit or stop talking, or
excuse me.
And then at 14, you're like, cool. Like I said, if you are a high enough level, if you're fighting things that can pass your charisma saving throw, or can make a charisma saving throw, they probably aren't hitting hard enough with an attack to be as big of a threat versus like giants. So they're like, cool, and they fail their charisma saving throw, so they don't get to swing at you at all for that whole round of combat. And that's anything. So you're just walking through a wave of enemies. It's just I don't like it. It's too powerful. Anyway, so that's College of Creation, which we both loved. College of Eloquence, which we both really loved. And then College of Glamour, which I fucking hate, and you are gonna abuse the shit out of. Sorry, Corey.
It's gonna be great for me.
It's gonna be great for you. I'm happy for you because it's not in my game.
What's funny is that Corey, he is worse than me. I would say he's arguably on your level of like can create absurdity level intelligent. Like, just he has so much creativity when creating things. He had somehow created pretty much these because of one of his DMs a nuke, and it's like, I'm not that smart, but when there are people who can create the ability to be broken, it's great. He literally was like, I'm hoping that everyone can become broken, but if it's broken too early, I don't know what to do. And I was like, I don't know, bud.
I know.
I already do this.
That's something we could discuss after this. But all right, so that was the first couple colleges of Bards. I hope everyone enjoyed this. especially me getting to see me pissy about one specific college.
Just
Uh,
imagine a Warlock where it's just in the very beginning.
I just hate the class in general. It's not even just the subclasses. Um, wait till Warlock. I don't even remember who does Warlock. That might be yours. Um,
I don't know. You just sit in the back and you're like,
but I think you did both of my favorite classes, if I remember correct, or two of my three favorite classes. Because I think I did Artificer, but you did Monk, and then I think you did Wizard.
I'm not
And
sure.
also, you got to do Blood Hunter. Like, how is any of this fair? Um,
I offered to switch, but it just didn't roll that way.
it's no. Anyway, so thanks for watching. I'm Kalvin.
I'm Brandon.
Bye.
Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and comment. And now you get to listen to the outro song. And that's the outro song. Yeah!